Hey guys, Mrs. Dan's here. Sorry I couldn't be here today, but I am going to teach you lesson 8 through video. If ever I go too fast, please just let the sub know so that they can pause and you can catch up. But so if you could write down the objective, we will be finding the interior angles of a triangle using the triangle sum theory. So we had talked about the triangle sum theory on Friday, that three angles in a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. You can check your homework answers. I placed the answers in your mailbox, and there is a due now for lesson 8. So if you could get started on that, and then I'm going to be doing it with you as well. When I see you tomorrow, if you had any specific homework questions, I can go over it then. And there are a few problems we're going to do in class, and then you're going to work with your partner on other problems, and then there is homework. So if we just mark down what our homework is, it is on page 47. It's only 8 questions. So let's get through today's lesson. When I stamp homework, I just want to make it clear, I am going to make sure the entire lesson is complete, because you are supposed to be working in class with your partner on some problems. You are supposed to be copying down the problems I do with you. So don't expect to just show me 47 and not have anything else done. So please make sure you're doing the right thing today in class. So the do now tells us that some lines are parallel, and we have to find the measures of angle 1, 2, and 3. So I can easily find 2. That's what I feel like finding first, because it's vertical from this measurement that's 80 degrees. So I guess angle 2 is also 80 degrees. Angle 60, the 60-degree angle, corresponds to angle 3. So I guess this is 60 degrees. And this 40-degree angle corresponds to angle 1, so I guess that this is 40 degrees. And it's asking us to sum of the interior angles. I sure hope it adds up to 180 degrees, because that's what we said on Friday. So is 80 plus 40 plus 60 equal to 180? It is. And do you think it's true for all triangles? The answer is yes. And why do you think that? Well, hopefully it's because we've been doing things where it shows us that three angles in a triangle always add up to 180. So, like I said, I'll do a few of these problems with you. So, this is just making a statement about the triangle sum theory, that the three angles in a triangle always add up to 180, because an 81 degrees plus 73 degrees plus 62 degrees is 180 degrees. So angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is 180 degrees, even though I don't know their measurements. And today we are going to be writing equations making all three angles in a triangle add up to 180 so that we can find the missing measurements. So when there's the same markings on all sides, it means it's an equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangles actually have the same angle measurements at each vertex. So that's why all of these are x. If the three angles add up to 180, then that means that 3x equals 180, and when we solve this equation, x is 60. And that's actually true. In an equilateral triangle, each angle is always 60 degrees, because to be equilateral, all three sides have to be the same, which makes all three angles the same. And in a triangle, all three angles must make 360. So really, each angle has to be 60 degrees. So since this has three of the same markings, really I already know that the three angles are going to be 60 degrees each. But let's write an equation to prove such a thing. So if this is 2x minus 12, and this triangle is equilateral, this one must also be a 2x minus 12. and this one must also be a 2x minus 12. We know that three angles in a triangle add up to 180, so I could say that 2x minus 12 plus 2x minus 12 plus 2x minus 12 equals 180 degrees. And we can solve this equation. There are so many like terms over here that we definitely want to combine first. 2x, 2x, and 2x is 6x, and minus 12, and minus 12 is minus 36. To solve this equation, of course, we're going to add 36 to both sides, and then finally divide by 6. So if you can continue that without just having to copy me. Look at that, I made a mistake. Good thing you weren't copying me. I subtracted instead of added. And then finally I'll divide. See that? We all make mistakes, but I noticed my mistake because something wasn't making sense when I was writing it down. So x is 36. If x is 36, I could go plug it into this angle that this x in the angle that they gave me. 2 times 36 is 72, and 72 minus 12 is 60. Since all of these say the same thing, each one must be 60. So really with equilateral triangles, the angles are each going to be 60 because they add up to 180. I'll do this one. Let's cross off right away. It's impossible to do. It's a bad question. Let's do this problem. There's not a number here, but it's this one that's actually an isosceles triangle. I know it's isosceles because both these base angles are the same. So the markings on this picture, really, I'm not too crazy about either. If there's a mark on the right side, there should be a mark on the left side, because an isosceles triangle has two sides congruent. An isosceles triangle has two angles congruent. But anyway, we're going to use all three angles and say that they add up to 180 so that we can find the measurement of those base angles. You don't have to copy me solving. I'm hoping you'd be able to do it on your own, and then just glance up here when you're done and make sure you have the same answer. So I got x is 75, which means these base angles are 75 each. I just want to make sure I did everything right. If I did, these three angles would add up to 180. So a 75 plus 75 plus 30, does that make 180? It does. So that's like my check. You don't have to do a check, but I always like to check to make sure that I did everything right. So if we look at something like number one is just so simple because there's not even an algebraic expression. It's just asking us to find this missing angle, and we already know two of them. So you can write an equation if you want. You could put an x in here and write 32 plus 43 plus x equals 180. Or since this is all numerical, I would also be okay with you just adding the 32 and the 43 to see what it adds up to so far, and then subtract it from 180 to find that missing angle. So I guess it's 105 degrees. I'm going to turn the page. I want you to do 2 and 3 on your own, and we're going to go do number 4. So the measure of one of the acute angles in a right triangle. So we have to know that a right triangle is a triangle that has a right angle. Put a box there to show yourself and others that it's a right angle. And since it's a right angle, we can actually write 90 degrees in here. And it says that one of the acute angles is 42.4. So one of these angles, I don't care which one you label, is 42.4. And we need to find this missing angle. I'm going to write an equation for this one. I'm going to write 90 plus 42.4 plus x has to equal 180. And I will combine these like terms, and you are allowed to use a calculator if this is bothering you. So you can pause and get your calculator out. I can add this though without a calculator. And then I would subtract the 132.4 from both sides. Again, you can use your calculator on this. I could do it by hand, but on your calculator, you just make sure you do the 180 minus the 132.4 and get 47.6. So what is the measure of the other acute angle? The other acute angle is 47.6 degrees. Make sure you're always answering the question being asked. I'm going to let you do 5 on your own, and I'm going to move to 6. So we're going to use the diagram to answer the following questions. First, it says find the value of x, and then it says find the measure of angle J. So I could see that there's 3 angles labeled, and I know 3 angles in a triangle add up to 180. So I'll first write that 2x minus 14 plus x minus 2 plus 3x plus 10 equals 180. And now we have to combine like terms. I'll do a 2x plus x plus 3x to get 6x. And then negative 14 and a negative 2 is a negative 16. And negative 16 with a positive 10 is a negative 6. So 6x minus 6 equals 180. Let's add 6 to both sides. So 6x equals 186. We'll divide by 6, and x equals 31. So find the value of x. X equals 31. Find the measure of angle J. So we go to angle J and do the calculations. 2 times 31 minus 14. So that's a 62 minus 14 is 48 degrees. And that's all I want to do with you today. So work with your partner on the ones that we didn't do, which would be number 2, number 3, number 5, and number 7. And then at home, you do page 47. If you finish the classwork before the bell rings, you have permission to start on your homework in class. and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.